What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. So once again, another late 2019 review of a phone that really kind of honestly built this channel in a way. I talked about this phone to death for a very long period of time, but then shortly after it actually got discontinued, or the software got discontinued, and I guess a lot of the attention that this phone brought kind of died down a little bit. So that specific phone is the iPhone 6, and we're going to be taking a look at it. Really, not a lot of crazy things have changed for this specific phone, but for the iPhone lineup, a lot of things have changed. The biggest thing, probably the software updates. It stopped on iOS 12. It's not going any further, which, is a sad thing for a lot of people. It's also a sad thing for me because I can't milk the views from those iOS videos that I did all the time, but it's totally okay. We also got those new iPhones, but also the used prices for iPhone 6s have gone down quite a bit as well. Not as much as they probably should. I feel like they could have gone down even more than what they already did, but is the iPhone 6 still worth it in late 2019? Now, if you watched that mid-2019 review, I kind of already said it wasn't worth it, but maybe things have changed since then. The lower price tag, maybe it changed. But before I get too far into this video, keep in mind, I'm still doing the iPhone XR giveaway. That giveaway is actually ending in a couple of days, so you might as well enter now before, sooner than later. If you want to enter that, all you have to do is click the second link or third, fourth link down in the description. One of those links in the description will say free iPhone XR giveaway open. As long as that still says open, and you click on that video and that says open, then you can still enter. Follow that video, the guide, the links, everything will be on that video, so that'll explain exactly how to enter. So that's my little thank you to you guys. Thanks for supporting the channel, all of that. But looking around the design of the iPhone 6, you can see, it definitely doesn't look like a brand new phone anymore. It's definitely dated for sure. The screen on the front is 4.7 inches. It's 750p, so it's a little bit higher than 720p, but definitely not full HD or anything. And that's kind of a big problem to a lot of people, I think. When you're in this day and age of OLED displays and everything, this display, it really doesn't look that good, but I think we're all kind of accustomed to it, so that's one thing. The other thing to keep in mind is that the iPhone XR, that display, even though it's bigger, it has almost the same resolution of the iPhone 6, but they have the exact same pixels per inch. So even though I would still rather have the iPhone XR's display without a doubt, that kind of puts it in perspective in a little bit. So that's kind of a funny thing. It's not a crazy thing or anything, but that is kind of funny. You only have a single camera sensor on the front, a single camera sensor on the back as well, and I'll get into those in a second. But ultimately, dude, what I can tell you in terms of the design, it's not a crazy, horribly cheap feeling phone. There's still a lot of budget phones or even mid-range Android phones that are coming out now that don't even feel as premium as this device. So say what you will, but I think they did a pretty decent job in 2014 at designing this phone, so I can't give them too much flack for that. On the bottom, you still have the headphone jack, which is kind of funny. A lot of people want to complain about it this day and age that they don't have it, but it's go back to the iPhone 6, you can still use it there. Another thing to keep in mind for my current iPhone 6 users who if you want me to make you feel better, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are still being sold in the Apple stores, and that pretty much for the most part has the same design as the iPhone 6. It just has a glass back, better build quality and wireless charging, but the core design of it are pretty much similar on both phones. So, and also the SE2 might be the same design too, apparently from the leaks and specs of what we're hearing. So who knows, maybe it's the truth, but as far as we know, the iPhone 6 definitely looks like a dated phone for sure. Now, in terms of software, we already know there's a major spoiler. It's already outdated. It's not getting any more major OS updates. The thing though is that it might get some security updates here and there. We already saw a couple of them released since iOS 13's official release, which is really weird. We don't usually see that. The last time we saw that, actually, there might have been one before that. I think iOS 9 might have had one, but iOS 10.3.2 or whatever, 10.4.1, whatever one that came out for the iPhone 4 and whatever one came out for the iPhone 4S and 5 recently, that one was the first one that I personally saw. Like I said, there might have been one before, but iOS 12, that was another one that just happened recently. So this one will still probably get software updates for a minute. Is it a crazy thing? Yeah, kind of. It should make you feel better that your phone is still being supported and everything. So that's really cool. But the other thing to keep in mind is that apps are still going to be updated through your app store. So update for Temple Run comes out, you can still use that. It's still going to be capable for your phone. You're still going to be getting app updates for a couple more versions of OS for a couple more years after. So in my opinion, you're fine in terms of software, but don't expect to be getting the multitasking and dark mode, this and this and this, just because the newer iPhones are getting it, because your phone is not going to get it. So that's kind of a huge knock for the iPhone 6 right there. But another huge knock for the iPhone 6 would be the speed and performance. It's just not that powerful of a phone anymore. You had the Apple A8 chip, you had a dual core CPU, but you only had 1 gigabyte of RAM, which for the most part, dude, it's just not enough in this day and age. You definitely need more RAM, you need more power for a phone. That's just kind of crazy in my opinion for how underperformed and underpowerful this phone was at the time. And it wasn't really that big of an upgrade from the 5S. And a lot of people want to hate on the 6S because it was a small improvement, whatever. But dude, that 6S was a crazy jump from the iPhone 6. So what I can tell you is, without a doubt, the iPhone 6, still holds its own. It's not like a completely unusable phone, like it still functions, but it's completely so to what we have in this day and age, even comparing it to something like an iPhone 6S. So I don't want to hate on it too much. You can still play Temple Run, you can still play games and everything, but I think that even without comparing them to like an iPhone 7 or 8, you're going to notice that it's kind of sluggish here and there. Even scrolling through the front home screen, I notice that it glitches up every once in a while. But, to me, to hate on it all the time, like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, everyone kind of knows that it was underpowered at the time, but you do kind of have to, keep that in mind. I don't want to go and say this phone is completely capable of doing whatever you want to do with it. That way people don't get the wrong idea and think it's completely fine and they can go get it. I think, you're better off upgrading just even like one more version above the iPhone 6. That's a major difference right there. I think the 6 was like the last slow iPhone. Ever since then, they pretty much, revamped their system. So that pretty much covers that in terms of performance. Hopefully I didn't confuse anybody even further. But now to get even to a more confusing topic, the camera. I don't think it's good compared to what we have today. It's only an 8 megapixel sensor on the back. I think it's a 1.2 megapixel sensor on the front. And you know what? If you're in perfect lighting, if you're outdoors and you want to take a photo of your cat or your dog or your mom or whatever, like, perfectly fine, go for it. You're probably going to not even notice that big of a difference. And here's my philosophy of cameras, right? It's like, it doesn't really matter like the quality of the photo as much as what's in the photo. So when I'm looking back at my old photos of like back in like when I was a baby or something, I'm not like, oh my god, where's the bokeh effect of this camera? Why wasn't this photo not in like 720p or whatever at the time? I'm not like that. I'm just like, okay, that's so cool. Like, that was me as a baby, or that's like my mom as a kid or whatever. Like, that's really, really cool. I don't really complain about the quality, and I don't think really a lot of people care about the quality of their photos, as long as it's more so what's in the photo. I'd rather have a really, really, really bad quality of a photo of like my great great grandfather than like a super high quality photo of like your mom or something like that, because no offense, your mom doesn't have anything to do with me, but my great great grandfather has something to do with me. You know what I mean? So I don't know, like, that's kind of a bad example, but I hope you guys kind of understood what I'm taking out. But it's not a bad camera. Like I said, you can do 1080p videos, but that's pretty much it. No 4K at 30, no like 240 frames or anything like that. But honestly, it's not a bad camera. Now, moving on to the battery life. Again, it's not horrible if it's replaced. If it's a full like 100% full battery, then I think you're going to be perfectly fine. I think this battery life is better than the iPhone 6s at full capacity. So if they're not like degraded in their battery health or anything, then I think they're pretty decent devices in terms of battery, but it's definitely not, good on what we have this day and age. Like, even to the iPhone 10, that has a far better battery life than the iPhone 6. But I just think the 6, it didn't have a super small battery compared to its size, but it also wasn't super powerful. So I think that kind of had a little balance to it. But I would recommend you, if you have an iPhone 6 or you're planning on getting one, which I would not recommend, at least replace a battery in it, and that's one huge advantage of the iPhone 6 is, you can replace your own batteries and everything, and it doesn't really affect anything of the phone. So that's kind of one advantage for the iPhone 6. And to kind of sum up this whole entire thing, dude, what I can tell you is the iPhone 6, for I would say 95% of people watching this video, isn't really worth it. It's just not worth it anymore. Back in like 2018 or 2017, maybe so, but like right now, I would recommend staying away from this. I would pick up at least an iPhone 6s. If you're currently using it, then if you're using an iPhone 6, it's not horrible. Like, you already know, like, it's not completely unusable, but like I said, the apps are still updated through the App Store, but the lack of software updates, the camera quality, and just the lack in performance just make this phone not a good phone to use, and a very bad phone actually to recommend to people, because it's not supported anymore. Like I said, it's getting security updates, but it's not really going much further after that. Really, the only main thing and main advantage I see of the iPhone 6 currently would probably be the repairability of this phone. And what I mean by that is, if you break the battery or you break the screen or something, it's not going to cost you $150 to replace anything of this phone, really. The phone itself costs less than that. So you can easily go get a part off eBay. Let's say you crack the screen or something. You can easily go and just get a screen off eBay for like $10, $15, get the tools with it included, and replace the screen yourself. And that's a really, really huge advantage of a phone like this. So the cost and maintenance fee of this phone isn't that high, but just, I don't want to use use a completely slow phone. I would rather spend more money and get a capable phone rather than an older phone that's unsupported right now. So I hope that makes sense to you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I made a lot of like weird analogies here and there, but if you made sense, if they make sense to you, hopefully you can make sense of them in the comment section below, because I know 30 people are going to comment about my great-great-grandfather and mother analogy. If you guys have any other questions though, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also, don't forget to enter the iPhone XR giveaway. The link's down in the description. I'll also leave like an iPhone 7 link, an iPhone 8 and 6S links down in the description. If you want to pick those up from Amazon, they'll be the cheapest links I find on there, and you can help support the channel at the same time. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.